Mavericks head coach Rick Carlisle says that this team can't win without Kristaps Porzingis, and guess what? He's absolutely right. This is the Gray Area right here on Kevin Gray Sports. My name is Kevin Gray. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for all things Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. And don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you can see when the videos drop. And you can find me on your home of the Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers, 105.3 The Fan. The Dallas Mavericks, whether they take on the Los Angeles Clippers or the Denver Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs, cannot make the deep run that they desire to make without Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps Porzingis, who in 42 games this year is averaging over 20 points per game and over 9 rebounds, made his return against the New Orleans Pelicans and the Toronto Raptors after missing the previous 7 games due to right knee soreness. He had a double-double in his most recent game against the Toronto Raptors where he had 21 points and 10 rebounds on 9 of 19 from the field. But this team, yes, is obviously driven by the train that is Luka Doncic. But this Mavericks team can't go where it wants to go without Kristaps Porzingis. And they will make the run because of Kristaps Porzingis and not necessarily because of Luka Doncic. You say, Kevin, how can you say that with a guy in Luka Doncic who's averaging over 28 points per game, over 8 rebounds, and nearly 9 assists every single night for this team? You know what you're going to get for the most part with Luka Doncic. But in order for this team to make the kind of playoff run where they've already had success in the regular season over the last couple of years against the Denver Nuggets, where they are 4-2 in their last 6 games. They won the season series this year against the Los Angeles Clippers, including a 51-point beatdown in Tinseltown earlier this season. Kristaps Porzingis is the key for the Mavericks to move forward and make the kind of playoff run they think that they are capable of making. Case in point, a season ago in the bubble in Orlando. In game number 3, Kristaps Porzingis had 34 points and 13 rebounds. He was terrific in that series, and what we come to find out, he was playing on a torn meniscus where he had to miss the final 3 games of that series. We could have been talking about the Mavericks upsetting the Clippers in the first round instead of them winning in 6 games and then eventually losing to the Denver Nuggets. Even in the Denver Nugget matchup, when you think about Kristaps Porzingis, in his best month that he had this year came in the month of March. And one of those games he played against the Denver Nuggets where he had 25 points and went 10 of 15 from the field and 5 of 7 from downtown. So you know how important Kristaps Porzingis is to this offense. But more importantly, he's got to be better on the defensive end, given the fact that this is a guy that can give you a couple of block shots when he's right and when he's healthy. Here is Kristaps Porzingis talking about the mentality that he is feeling, not just for himself, but his team as they get ready to enter into the playoffs now that they have secured a playoff spot. Here is Kristaps Porzingis discussing that.
Mentally, I feel like this is, as I said in the interview after the game, it's like dessert, you know. It's like that's what you're waiting for the whole season. So it's easy to get your, you know, to get your energy going and everything when it's playoff time. You know, that's when you want to put everything out there. So I'm looking forward to that, you know, and the closer we get, the more energy we're gonna have, and I feel like we're gonna enjoy this.
So Kristaps Porzingis is saying, look, man, the playoffs are like dessert. This is what you've been waiting for all season long. And for him, and also shout out to Jalen Brunson, who's going to be playing in his first postseason after having to miss last year's NBA bubble playoffs because of a shoulder injury. He's going to have a chance to have a dramatic effect here. And don't worry, I've seen you jumping in my YouTube comments talking about, look, we may have a better shot this year against the Clippers or the Nuggets because we've got guys healthy such as Kristaps Porzingis now, Jalen Brunson and others, Dwight Powell, who did not play in the NBA bubble playoffs because of a torn Achilles. We are much healthier going into these playoffs than we were a season ago. And I hear your confidence. Trust me, I hear your confidence. But this thing hinges on the idea that Kristaps Porzingis will be the unicorn that he can be. When he's at his best, this is a guy who averages over 20 points per game, can give you 10 rebounds, can give you a couple of block shots, stretch the floor from the three-point line, put the ball on the deck, and create mismatches inside the paint when he has smaller defenders on him, which he needs to take better advantage of, especially when he has the opportunities to do so. But you know what this team is with Luka Doncic and what he is capable of doing. Here is Luka Doncic talking about what it means to secure a playoff spot, and now knowing for sure that they're going to be in the NBA playoffs, whether or not they're taking on the Clippers or the Nuggets. Here's what Luka Doncic had to say.
I mean, that's great. Obviously, I think I remember, that tough stretch when we were like 12 or 13 spot. Everybody had us off playoff, but now we made the playoff, and it's good. We're gonna have a couple of days off, and that's what we needed.
So Luka Doncic saying, look, we have the opportunity now that we're in the playoffs. We've earned the rest that comes with being in the NBA playoffs, because by avoiding the play-in situation, you get a week off before the NBA playoffs, which gives even more time for these players to get healthy, which is important for Maxi Kleber, who is going to be out against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and, of course, J.J. Redick, who's out the rest of the regular season due to his heel soreness. So this team needs to continue to get healthy as they play in their final regular season game, but more importantly, as they get ready for the NBA playoffs. And avoiding the play-in tournament is the key to doing so. Now, I mentioned Rick Carlisle believes that this team cannot win without Kristaps Porzingis. He's absolutely right, because Rick Carlisle knows exactly what Porzingis means in terms of this lineup. You've seen him play in the last couple of games at the power forward position, given how well Dwight Powell has been playing at the center position, with his ability to rim run and also bring energy and hustle on the defensive end. Dwight Powell has earned the opportunity to remain in the starting lineup at the 5 spot. Meanwhile, Kristaps Porzingis can continue to get better at the 4 spot by using the mismatches that are available to him. But again, on the defensive end, being able to affect the game, more importantly on that end, given his unique skill set. Here is Rick Carlisle talking about the idea that, look, we can't win without Kristaps Porzingis. This was after he had played well against the Toronto Raptors with his 21-10 night. Here is what Rick Carlisle had to say.
He was very good tonight. He hit open shots. He moved the ball extremely well. He rebounded. He didn't have any block shots on the score sheet, but he was a guy that I think he changed a few shots around the basket and influenced some rebounds in our favor. So, he did a lot of very positive things. We're very fortunate to have him back these last 2 games. It'd be very tough to win without him.
So Rick Carlisle is like, we need Kristaps Porzingis. And as much maligned as Kristaps Porzingis is by Mavericks fans and those who support this team, and I get it, the best ability is availability, and Kristaps Porzingis hasn't necessarily shown that over the last couple of years. But you know what he is when he's right. And you know, as well as I know, this team can't go where it wants to go unless Kristaps Porzingis is playing at an all-star level to be the true number 2 that the Mavericks need him to be. And the on-court chemistry that continues to develop between Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis will be the key to the future. Because let me tell you something. Whether or not Kristaps Porzingis remains on this team after this season and into the future, he needs to ball out in the NBA playoffs for you to have a better and clearer picture of whether or not this team going forward in the future with the combination of Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis is viable, or if his value is regained to the point where you can move him in the offseason. So either way, it's a benefit to you that Kristaps Porzingis goes into these playoffs and handles his business, because he's capable against the Denver Nuggets, and he's also capable against the Los Angeles Clippers. So either way, yeah, Kristaps Porzingis is the reason why this team is going to go where it needs to go, not Luka Doncic. Again, Luka Doncic, you know what you're going to get from him as a 22-year-old superstar who's going to make another All-NBA team this year. But for Kristaps Porzingis at the age of 25, this is the most important postseason for him that he will experience in his career up to this point, obviously, because he's got to prove, 1, that he can stay on the court and be available for the Mavericks, but number 2, he is going to be the driving engine that helps this team on both ends of the floor reach the kind of heights in the NBA playoffs they think that they are capable of making based on how competitive they were a season ago against the Los Angeles Clippers. Only time will tell, as this Mavericks team now has an opportunity to get into the NBA playoffs, whether it be against the Clippers or the Nuggets, to make sure that they get the confidence out of you that Kristaps Porzingis can be a part of this future, but more importantly, be a healthy part of this future. Because, yes, this team has a top 3 NBA overall net rating in its last 10 games. Yes, Kristaps Porzingis and his apex can be a guy that can get you 36 points and light you up from the three-point line like he did earlier this season against the New Orleans Pelicans. But most importantly, when your head coach says, hey, we can't win without this guy. I know how much you beat up on Kristaps Porzingis, and for the most part, it's warranted. But now, knowing what this team is with and without him, we say, Kevin, they also went 7-3 at one point without Kristaps Porzingis. I get that too. But trust me, this team is better when Kristaps Porzingis is on the floor. It's up for him to prove it to the rest of us in these NBA playoffs. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for all things Kevin Gray Sports here on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that notifications bell to know when the videos drop. And catch me on your home of the Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers, 105.3 The Fan. This has been another episode of The Gray Area. We'll talk to you later. Peace.